Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on, well, man, it's hump day, Mal. It's Wednesday. Mal's of course with me. And I have George right off the bat. George has a few guests with him. Good morning, George. How are you?
Self, you doing okay?
I'm doing well, sir.
Well, happy coffee day. You can actually get a free cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, I think McDonald's, wherever coffee is. This is National Coffee Day.
I'm
So
all
for
about
those of you like Edward who live and can't even function till after you've had your first cup of coffee in the morning, go out and get a free cup of coffee.
I'm all about free, buddy. I like free. Who do you have today, buddy?
Well, we've got an interesting thing. You know, one of the places that finally reopened that we're really glad about is the round robin at the Willard Hotel, which is always a wonderful. This is where the term lobbying came from, because Ulysses S. Grant used to go there and have a cigar and a bourbon or 8 after a long day at the White House. And one of the things is that since it was after the war, the people who wanted to talk to him would sit in the lobby. And so the derogatory term was because they wouldn't spend any money until the president came, and they would just call it the lobbyists. Even though the term was used colloquially in Britain before then, it didn't enter the parlance until the Willard Hotel. But this morning, the other day, I happened to be sitting having my iced tea in the afternoon, and I ran into Kristen and Anastasia, who have a reality show like To Catch a Predator. That's on tonight, as a matter of fact, and next Wednesday, and you can find the old episodes on YouTube.
So they caught you doing something?
Predator DC.
What'd they catch you doing, buddy?
Kristen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here with Anastasia. Yep.
And we got Anastasia. Anyway, one of the things is that one of the for those of you who don't know anybody in New York, all the bad things that ever happened in New York have come back, which is, the trash on the streets, the people washing your windshields, and the panhandling and the drug addicts and everything else. But one of the things also is the stroll, where they have prostitutes out on the street. One of the things that Rudolph Giuliani did was he started arresting the Johns and then perp walking them on, in the mornings, where they were, so that their bosses and their wives and whoever else could get caught. And that pretty much was the greatest deterrent in the world to stop prostitution in New York. They've been doing this same kind of a thing on Predator, To Catch a Predator, and now you guys are doing it with Predator DC, which I'm sure you're going to get either a higher or a lower clientele out of that. Why don't you tell us about it?
Okay, so my name's Kristen Spielman, and I helped produce the show. I'm on the show, and then my friend Anastasia is a model in I'm a model as well. She's a model in one of my agencies, so we've recruited her to be the decoy in this. And we worked with, I don't know if you know these guys, you may or may not, Jacob Wool and Jack Berkman. They're in the news quite a bit, and they always wanted to do a show like this. They always wanted to and we're all fans of To Catch a Predator. I think it's a great show. It's really well done, and it did some good for humanity, in my opinion. So we wanted to replicate that. We spent about, I'd say, a month, 6 weeks, not only studying those episodes, but starting this sting operation, I guess you can call it. We wanted to see how prevalent it was, to have these sort of sex predators in D.C., and especially the high-level ones, the government workers, the judges, the CIA agents, those types of people. So we set up, these fake Tinder and dating app accounts, and just to see who we would attract. And we used, an attractive girl. The girl was actually 20. No one was underage here, but what matters in the eyes of the law, I guess, is in intent and what they believe to be true. So, we ended up matching with, an overwhelming number of guys ranging from, 25 to 70. And then, we had a separate phone for them that we would, text with them. And, the whole thing's got out of control. All the messages are very sexual in nature. And they believed this girl to be 16 years old. So we set up a sting house, much like in To Catch a Predator. We rented an Airbnb in Montgomery County, Maryland. And while we didn't think we'd have such a big turnout, we actually had 31 people come to the sting house. We scheduled them on the hour, every hour for 2 days. And we had 31 people show up. Now, 2 of them ran. And then, of course, the cameras, chased them. But the ones that stayed, it was interesting because you would think that people wouldn't want to talk to us or people would, run, but it's almost like your mind goes into this catatonic state. You just sit there, you freeze sort of, and they let themselves get interrogated. And so it's made for an interesting show so far. And then, overall the goal was to hopefully deter these people from acting like that again.
Oh, Kristen, first of all, be careful. This sounds a little dangerous.
A little dangerous.
I don't know. I don't imagine all these guys are stable. I mean, you have. Are you working with police force, or is this just?
We are working with the police force.
Okay, good. I feel better.
Yeah, that and they don't. The worst thing we've gotten so far is some cease and desist letters from civil lawyers.
Yeah, that's expected.
For defamation, you first of all, it's not a criminal matter; it's a civil matter. But you have to prove one of two things. Well, both things. You need to prove one, that it's not true, and these things are true. We extracted the metadata from the phones and everything. There's no, we didn't doctor evidence. We have whole files on them that we've given to police. And 2, you have to prove monetary damages. Like, these guys need to come and say, "Oh, I lost my job because of this," or I lost. You have to put a dollar figure on it. And so, but I mean, the first prong of that will never be disproven because they did do this.
So, where's this airing? Is this airing just on the internet? Or is it airing on a regular?
So we have 2 episodes online so far that have aired. They're on YouTube. You can find the first one at predatordc.com/pilot. And that's on there for free. And right under that one, when you get to YouTube, there's the second one as well. Moving forward, like the episode 3 starts tonight. It's a 6-episode series. Episode 3 starts tonight. And I believe you have to sign up at predatordc.com to watch the rest of them. I believe it's just an early access thing. I think it's like $10 a month. Uh-huh. But we do an episode a week, so it's not that much money. But in any case, I think we do eventually release them to YouTube like a couple days later.
So tell me, what the motivation was? It because you wanted to do a series and you wanted to do the YouTube or television thing, or was it the Predator part that you were after?
The Predator part. Well, I mean, the guys we work with, they are very much in the show business industry. Anastasia and I are models. We've been in extras in some shows and movies and stuff like that, but we weren't in it for the fame aspect of it. I know those guys were the main producers. They wanted. But also, I have pretty high morals. I wanted to do something that would help society, so to speak. I have 2 children. Yeah. So, to think that there are people like this lurking all over the internet, I want to, any little thing that we could have done to help not let that happen, I definitely wanted to be a part of. And the sad reality was there are a lot of them. There are a lot of people like that. And And my hope is that after dealing with us and this whole experience and being on camera now, I don't know if you guys watch the show, but it's very entertaining. But after dealing with that experience, my hope is that they won't do this to another girl or another boy or,
Yeah. Arrests were
You
involved.
got any funny stories about these guys? Like I watched, was it Catch a Predator, and they caught the same guys like 3 times.
Are you talking about the show? Yeah, I did see that episode. I did see a couple episodes. No, we didn't get anyone. We did get one guy who left, and then he texted the phone back, and he wanted Anastasia's number.
Huh?
He says, "Well, if that girl is free, I would still like to talk to her." And we were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you should just take your blessings and leave."
They already found out. They already found out she was over 16, and he was still interested.
Oh, right. I mean, she's 22. She can pass for 16, and the guys didn't care. We have a couple funny. I can let Anastasia tell you a couple of the funny stories because she was the one who had to. And it is sort of a dangerous job. She had to go and answer the door for these guys, and then you essentially we had security officers all over the place in closets. Ready to pounce, ready to shoot, ready to do whatever. But for those couple seconds, she had to turn her back to what could be a dangerous guy and lead him up the stairs for a few seconds. So I'll turn you over to her, and she can maybe tell you a couple funny stories if you're interested.
Certainly, I am. Good morning.
Okay, here she is.
Hello, thank you so much for having us on. Yeah, there were a lot of conflicting emotions going on because it was very hard to be around that kind of thing, but at the same time, we were very glad to be part of it because hopefully these guys will never do it again. And some of them have already lost their jobs as a result of this sting operation and the current investigations that are going on right now. And yeah, it was kind of mind-blowing, some of the guys, what they did and what they have said to me, being under the impression that I'm an underage teen. For example, this one predator that we caught, he actually works for the health department in the Department of Health in Anne Arundel County. And so I had to FaceTime him, and he actually asked me if I'm vaccinated. So the fact that I'm an underage teen didn't really bother him much at all, but he had to make sure that he wanted to see my vaccination card. But then when he actually came in, social distancing was the last thing on his mind. He actually groped me. He came in without a mask, so, didn't care too much about, seeing my vaccination card whatsoever. We also had this other guy. He actually drove in from New York City. And so to Maryland, yes, Montgomery County, Maryland. And we had asked him to bring sex toys and alcohol. And so he, when he was in the area, he called me, asked me where the wine store is. So he bought the wine, he bought the sex toys, he came in, and then his entire story changed when the cameras came out. He said that the sex toys and his wine and the wine were actually for his wife. Flowers. He also brought flowers.
Okay.
Flowers.
That's sweet.
Yes. His whole story changed. He said they were for his wife, who was back in New York City. We had actually also caught a federal judge who was sending pictures of his bulge in his judicial robe during oral arguments.
Wow.
And only after weeks of chatting, he decided to do his own legal research on the yearbooks. And he realized, he was screwed because he was able to find we were using a burner phone from Simple Wireless. And I did not, in fact, go to Holy Cross. And he then proceeds to send a 4-paragraph essay trying to get himself out of the situation that he had gotten himself in. But at that point, it was too late because he had already sent pictures and engaged in sexual conversation with who he believed to be an underage teen. And, you would think the natural reaction for these guys would be to run away and shut down, but they really do sit down and try to explain their entire story. We had a couple of attorneys come that seemed to be, that were really convincing for themselves, and, everyone said it was their first time. Yep. So, yeah, it was, in the end, it was a little bit traumatizing, but, I'm definitely proud that we did what we did. These guys will never do it again.
Now, Anastasia, you're a model, which means you're on the runway, you're wearing fashion to be attractive and all that, and you have to know there's predators out there, even when you're on the runway, probably. But this had to bring it home that they're really, they're there's some creepy guys. Does that change your view on modeling or at all?
So it did a little bit because it kind of made me just realize, not even in the modeling world, but just in general, there are so many predators out there that you wouldn't think are doing what they do because, at first glance, when you talk to these guys, they just seem like normal people. Like on FaceTime, they're, one of the guys, he was telling me about how he's making like this apple pie or peach cobbler or something. He just seems to be like a normal, suburban dad, seems very, normal. But then he has this dark side to him that you don't really see unless you're in that kind of situation. So yes, in the modeling world, for sure, it kind of does make me think about it a little more. But even besides that, because, like just crossing somebody on the street or like, maybe, friends with friends, you never know what kind of dark side somebody has to them.
I have a daughter that was Miss Yuma County for the Miss America pageant. And of course, seeing her on stage and everything, I'm a proud dad, and I want to encourage that as well as my granddaughter. What advice do I give my granddaughter to balance the being attractive, the beauty, the fashion, with keeping the predators at bay?
Well, I would definitely suggest to be careful and especially with the internet, for sure, because anyone can say anything. Exactly, anyone can say anything. You never know who somebody actually is. Somebody can, use fake pictures, say that there's somebody much younger, and I would suggest to be very, very careful with meeting somebody online to begin with, and definitely always be wary. Always kind of keep in mind that you never truly know who somebody could be until you maybe get to know them better.
And then also there's parental, I don't have anything to recommend, but there is parental software for this sort of thing. So parents can monitor their children as far as, meeting people off the internet.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not the stranger danger guy or the one that wants to keep her out of public view or put her in a burqa. But I want her safe.
Right.
Well, and don't go back to Harvey Weinstein's apartment or hotel room. There is no party there, according to Courtney Love.
Well,
hey, one of the things we thought that was kind of interesting was in the last 5 years, they've caught several ambassadors here in Washington, D.C. that then used their diplomatic immunity to get out of jail and went home. So it is kind of interesting. Hey, how can they access this? Is there a website?
Oh, you're talking to us? Yeah, so the website for the show is www.predatordc.com. So it's predatordc.com.
Wow.
They can sign up there for the rest of the episodes. There are 2 free episodes, our first 2 episodes, and to get to those, you can go to predatordc.com/pilot. That'll redirect you to the YouTube episode, which is free. And then within that, you know how on the side of a YouTube thing, it'll do like suggested videos. The next one over is episode 2.
Wow. Well, George, I'm running out of time.
Thank you, Kristen and Anastasia. We really appreciate you coming on, and we'll look forward on the thing. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah, guys,
on.
Appreciate what you do. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. And I'll be right back. AM 560.